Welcome back, rankers. Had an interesting afternoon yesterday. After last week's show about Black Hat and Patrick Stafford's excellent story in smartcompany.com.au, we were checking one of our clients' key phrases, a highly competitive key phrase, and we had a few drops recently on that particular phrase. So we went and looked at the top 4 sites above us, and we found that 3 of them were doing Black Hat. So, and 1 below them. So 4 out of the 10 on the page were doing Black Hat. Now, the Black Hat wasn't cloaking or anything like that. It was similar to what we showed last week. But the point is that the number 1 spot, the number 2 spot, and the number 3 spot were all hiding lots of keywords within the code so that the human couldn't see them, but so that Google could. Our policy when we find stuff like that is to go into Webmaster Tools and report the spam to Google, like Matt Cutts, Google's senior engineer, suggests. The result of which was nothing. So we often think that the Google algorithm is meant to pick these things up. And in one case it was a very, very well-known hosting company, worldwide well-known hosting company, was doing white text on a white background. You would think Google could just pick that up. Well, as it happens, it doesn't. You actually have to go in, report it, and wait. So yesterday we reported 4 sites that for the same key phrase and the same search page. Now, if Google was my search engine and I got 4 reports on the same search page, I'd probably want to go and have a look at it to see if that industry needs a little bit of closer looking at. We used to have a thing called the Google Sandbox years ago, which basically meant that Google would put sites that were new, if they were in a highly competitive area or a highly known spam area, into a separate section, if you like, until they were about 6 months old, and then they'd allow them to be ranked in that same area. So whether Google goes in and finds that with this particular search phrase, and I can't tell you what it is because it's my client's search phrase, and I don't want to go and point the finger at all these other sites. Not public anyway, I'll tell Google though. So think about that. If you're having trouble getting to number 1 spot, is there something untoward those other sites are doing? And who is doing this for you? Who is, get your web developer to do it, whoever's responsible for your site. You've got to make sure that you're not behind the 8 ball or someone isn't getting an edge that Google really shouldn't want them to have. Okay, a couple of site reviews this week. Couldn't get to them last week. Tower.co.nz, and this is for Twitter viewer. And where is he? He's down here somewhere. Get Trippy. So we're having a look at this particular page, insurance page, buy insurance online. Now the first thing that strikes me is that, this is probably a really good key phrase for you guys, buy insurance online, I'm guessing. I haven't done the check on Google Insights for search. The first thing, once again, what I do is grab Aaron Wall's SEO X-ray and just have a look at where the H1s are and the H2s and 3s and those sorts of things. Up here you've got H6, probably doesn't need to be a H6, you can probably just take that heading tag out altogether. Mainly because starting a page with a H6 is sort of a bit counterintuitive to me if it was my search engine. And then the next thing that strikes me is get an online insurance quote. Well, if you've established that buy insurance online is a really good phrase and it should be first in your title, I would also make it the first H1 on the page and keep that consistency through those page titles and actually the H1s as well. That's the main thing that I'm seeing right now. If we're going to have a look at the code looks, we'll just close that off. Doesn't want to close. Closed. Okay, we have a look at the page source. Once again, description, yep, good. Content, yeah, that all looks fairly reasonable. The thing that There's a lot of probably extra code in there that you don't need, that you can probably put in external files, a lot of the JavaScript stuff. It simplifies the code for the Googlebot to wade through, so, and it gives you a better code to text ratio, so the bot doesn't have to wade through code and code and code until it finds the stuff that it's trying to assess whether it's worthy of ranking or not. And you know, a lot of the images here, we'll just have a look at this one. And once again, the JPEG images, you've called it insurance car quote. Well, that's not too bad actually, but why not car insurance quote? You may as well use your keyword in there. It describes what the image is about. And yeah, so basically name your images with your keywords. Alternate text here is buy online now. Why not, once again, buy insurance online? Just that consistency of phrase use helps Google understand what the page is about. But right now, you know, just at random, we've taken a look at those three graphics. We've got buy insurance online, get an online insurance quote, and buy online now. Well, buy online now, yes, in context, it kind of makes sense, but buy insurance online now. So they're the first things that I saw. The other thing that you can have a look at too, always go to the Google index and type in site, and your web address.com. Now don't type in your web address.com, type in your web address. You know what I mean. You've got 582 pages. Now I know the site's quite old, so that's probably not bad. What I always do though is go to the end of the search results just to see if there's a few things in there that are questionable. And what I'm seeing here is that I'm seeing URLs that are different to ones that we saw earlier in the search. So we'll just make sure that you're not duplicating content here. Make sure that this content isn't available at another web address. So that's Tower Insurance from New Zealand, and we're going to be there next month, so I'm looking forward to getting back to New Zealand. Next, we're going to have a look at Nick Savage's site, Above and Beyond, a travel site. Once again, love what you're doing up here with the page title. You've got your pipe characters, separating your phrases out. That's really good. But I question whether people are actually going to search for travel specialists to the Indian Ocean. I think they're going to be a little bit more specific than that. And the most important phrase that you should have, should be at the start of your page title. This key phrase down here is, to me, much more likely to be searched. Africa safaris or African safaris. Madagascar adventures. I don't know whether people actually search for, I want to have an adventure. They might, I don't know. But just have a look at that. Seychelles Island holidays. I reckon people probably just put Seychelles holiday or Seychelles accommodation, or it depends on where you're getting these people in their decision-making process. Hot deals to Mauritius. Once again, I'm not too sure whether people actually type in hot deals. Some of these phrases sound a little bit industry-based or promotional-based, and people don't search that way. They're the main things. Once you've discovered what those phrases should be, once again, have a look at your, well, you haven't got any heading tags on this page. I would suggest at least getting a H1 on this page and getting your main key phrase, whatever it might be, up the top of the page. Put the H1 at the top of the page, and you don't have a lot of links with your key phrases in them. You've got Mauritius, you know, the actual destinations, but what about Mauritian holidays, Seychelles accommodation, whatever it might be? You can also use those sorts of phrases in links further down the page to give people a bit more information. But basically, it's once again, it's that consistency of getting your key phrases in your page titles, in your H1s, in your links. And once again, we'll have a quick look at one of your images to see what it is doing. This is one we've just chosen at random. Once again, hot deals. Where are we? We can get the actual image name. Now, see, that's good. MauritiusPackages.gif. Tower Insurance. Have a look at that. That's good. But no alternate text. So get some alternate text in there with that phrase. And all you're doing here is you're making sure that people that have images switched off know what that image was about, because you've got good alternate text, and that's what it's for. And that you've got to call your file name something, so Mauritius Packages, why not? And it's all about that consistency throughout the site, making sure that you're not trying to be too clever with lots of different creative sounding phrases, because that's not the way people search. Hopefully that's helpful, and we'll see you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.